Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome me back to the YouTube. Woohoo! Well, I said on the fan page on Facebook, I was gonna come back for an Easter thing. Sorry, yes, it's a week later, and if you can't tell, that's horror fanatic.
I didn't give anybody permission to shoot in my on my in my in my movie room.
Anyway, as you guys know, I was gonna tell you guys about the Ten Commandments. So here I go telling you guys about the one, the only Ten Commandments. What do you guys think? You guys ready for it? This is about what you'd say a 3-hour movie.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. If you guys want me to, I can do another. I can do a review on the box. This is what the movies came in. Actually, the Ten Commandments itself.
Yeah,
I didn't know that the movies were actually in the movie that are actually in here.
I found that.
You found that out.
Yeah, she bought it from VStock for $30 because they thought the movies weren't in there, and just decided to give it to her for that price. And then I was just fucking around with it and found that they were inside there the whole time.
And
good job, VStock. You're really doing a good job with the quality control.
so yeah, see, movies, and I didn't even know. So I got the Blu-ray and DVD set.
Yep.
Thanks, V-Stock. Got it for $30 when you guys thought the movies weren't in it, when actually it was. No, if you guys want, let me know on Facebook or down below in the comments if you guys want to do a whole thing of what's inside, because this box set is really, really good. Okay, so let's get into the movie. The movie starts out very slowly with all the credits of who's all in the movie and whatnot. And after all of that...
Yeah, no. So back then, they used to do an overture, and then they would do like 10 minutes worth of credits, and then like another overture, because it was an event back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Literally.
unlike now. So it was kind of interesting seeing that.
By the way, this is his first time seeing seeing
I will pop in.
the Ten Commandments.
I will pop in with sarcastic comments when needed.
So anyway, so the Ten Commandments, like he said, the overture with all the all of the stuff that starts out with who's all in the movie, who did the movie, and all this. Then it goes into another portion of it, and then it starts the movie. And it starts the movie out with the Pharaoh, not the Pharaoh that took over when Moses was doing this, but the main Pharaoh, which would be his, like, dad, uncle, stepdad kind of thing. I don't know. And he basically said, whoever this person is that is supposed to be the Hebrews' savior of freeing them from slavery, he wanted to kill all the firstborn men. And Moses here was one of them. But his mother went in and put him in a basket. Mira was with him and and the mother, and she put him in a basket and put the robe that you see here, a piece of it, in with the basket. And then after that, the mom said, Mira, follow the basket. Basket went down well, I think it's like the Nile River, and went into the Pharaoh's sister's daughter, or something like that. And she had found Moses in the basket. So at that portion of the story, the whole thing, she starts naming him Moses. He becomes one of the princes of Egypt. He lives a golden life, and tries to fight for Pharaoh once his uncle, dad, stepdad, whatever you want to call him, dies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has a contender, which is the Pharaoh's son. And he basically tries to tell him that Moses is not good enough, that he's the full heir, that he should take over, and whatnot. And then he tells the Pharaoh to tell Moses that he should go and build him a new city. The new city Pharaoh wants his cousin slash brother slash whatever he is goes in and he tells him, "Hey, why don't Moses go make the new city?" Pharaoh says, "Great, awesome, let's go do it." As I can't remember the Pharaoh's name.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
I just call him jerk ass.
They'll come to me probably. Anyway, he goes in, he tries to find out who the savior is and tries to figure out what he's all about and if he's going to be there. As they know, he is a Hebrew, but they don't know what kind of Hebrew he is. Mm-hmm. Then down that line, he kind of screws Moses over. Moses tries to tell the Pharaoh that the city's almost done. He goes and shows the Pharaoh all of the things that's happening. That happens for a few scenes, and then he goes back to the main palace. At the main palace, the one chick that becomes the new Pharaoh's wife tries to figure out who he is and tell him that he's the Hebrew and everything. And then after that, you can chime in anytime you want.
I really don't
Horror
know
fanatic.
anything much to say. Basically, Moses had a really sweet job at construction. He should just keep with that, but he didn't. And everything went bad. Then he found out he was adopted, and well, that whole thing.
Yeah, that whole thing.
And then it just him feeling guilt, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna live as a Hebrew and see what it's like." It sucked.
Yeah. So he comes in, tries to be a Hebrew, and then after he becomes a Hebrew, he gets to do the Hebrew thing, and he then gets banished from Egypt, and he goes into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. As that all happens, they go back to Egypt and sees that the old Pharaoh, his dad, uncle, whatever you want to call him, dies. That's when his son becomes Pharaoh. And then
the burning bush and something.
then it goes back and forth between, and then finally ends up with Moses, where he goes and finds a Hebrew family that has 8 daughters. This gentleman has 8 daughters, and she tells him about this big huge mountain. And in between all of that, they goes in and he gets married, has his own son.
He talks to a burning bush in the desert.
Sooner or later, Joshua tells him about a burning bush that's happening. He goes and talks to the burning bush. The burning bush is actually God.
And the bush is like, "Dude, this is going to be cool. I'm going to give you a staff. I'm going to send you back to Egypt. You're going to free the slaves." Totally great. And that's what Moses does.
Yeah.
And so then Moses ends up back in Egypt, and everybody's, talking to his, cousin, brother, whatever, the new Pharaoh. Everybody's kissing his ass. And then Moses walks up, and he's like, "Sup, dick? I got a magic staff now."
And it shows that God has more powers than what the Pharaoh's gods have.
Yep.
And in one of the parts, one stick becomes a snake, and then the Pharaoh's god people turn theirs into snakes, and then God snake eats the other 2, proving that God is better than theirs.
Basically, he boils it down. Moses says, "Look, just free my people,
and then
everything's cool. But if you don't, plagues."
Then the
Lots of
7 plagues comes,
and it happens.
Yeah, and then the famine and all this other stuff, and then one of the main
water into blood.
Yeah,
Your dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
And then one of the last 7 of those was the firstborn being killed. Well, it wasn't the Hebrews because they were saved by the lamb's blood on the door. After that, that's when all of the Egyptian people's firstborn, and the Pharaoh has a firstborn, and he dies.
Oh, yeah.
So the Pharaoh, as you know, is married to that one girl that the Pharaoh wanted whoever was going to be the heir to marry. So she has a son. She brings him in like this and says, "Your son's dead." Well, the Pharaoh decides to try to see if he can bring him back to the death by his gods. Doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, that whole
He's
scene,
dead.
Yeah, that whole scene where he's like, "Nah, I got this. My God's gonna bring him back to life. It's gonna be cool." Doesn't happen.
No, does not happen at all. And
That's one dead
Moses comes back and says, "Free my people from slavery, or free my people."
kid. And
Pharaoh
Pharaoh's like,
says,
"Sure."
"Sure, take your people and go." Then the next
Yeah.
morning, the whole entire day becomes Hebrew.
It's the Exodus.
Yeah, it's Exodus, exit out into the desert, and they're walking the desert for whatever how many days or whatever, and then they come to the Red Sea, or the Dead Sea. And then the Dead
Oh, no,
Sea,
the Red Sea, you're right, but yeah, whatever. And
whichever
then
sea it is, you guys know which one
they
I'm talking
take
about.
up camp there, and then the Pharaoh's wife is like, "Hey, whoa, you let him go, and there's no retribution. Come on, stop being a wimp." And the Pharaoh's like, "Yeah, okay, fine."
And then she's like, "If you find Moses, I want his head." Basically, she hates him because their son's dead. Basically,
To be fair, that is actually a genuine beef I would
Yeah.
have. But anyway, so then he goes out.
then he goes out and he's stopped by a silicone fire
a column of fire.
column of fire
And
stops the the Pharaoh and his buddies.
and Edward G. Robinson, who's there, who's been a dick the whole time,
Yeah.
shows up, and he's just like, "Oh man, now we're gonna die, asshole, because our backs are to the ocean. What you gonna do now?" And Moses is like, "I'm gonna show you what I'm
And
gonna do
then-
now."
And then that's when he raises the staff and he takes it and he parts the Red Sea. And
And then Edward G. Robinson
everybody,
is like, "You're just trying to just one up me every time, aren't you?" And Moses is like, "Yup, let's go."
and then all of the Hebrews in Egypt, all the Hebrews and some of the Egyptians that were saved, basically goes across the Red Sea. And by the time most of the Hebrews are either halfway or mostly there at the end, God lets the column of fire, tornado of fire or whatever, and
Yeah,
the
he
Egyptians go
lets it
straight over.
because he's like, "Hey, column of fire's good now. You can go across. It's fine, man. Don't worry about it."
By the time
No.
that all the
Halfway
Hebrews
through
by the time the Hebrews got done, he
the
said,
water.
put this water back together, and it killed all of the all of the Pharaoh's
Ev-
kinsmen.
Everybody except the Pharaoh, because the Pharaoh was the last one. Because he's like, "I'm gonna wait and see how this plays out, but I'll join you." And then he's the last one. That's my favorite scene too, when he goes back home and he just stumbles to the door and he just like looks at his wife and she's just sitting there like,
Where's Moses?
Where's my head of Moses? And he's just like, "I have had a day. Can you just let me relax?" And then he tells her all about the crazy stuff that happened. And she's like, "Okay, yeah, but whatever. You call him fire, water, blah, blah. Did you kill him?" And he's like,
No.
"No, I definitely did not."
Yep, he did not kill him.
"I'm thinking of killing you." But then he doesn't, and then they just sit there, and that's the last scene we see them at, is just them sitting there going, "Ain't life a bitch?" And that's how that just
That's
fades
how
away.
the Pharaoh portion of the movie fades away. So we don't talk till there's no more Pharaoh of anything. Then we go back over to where Moses is on the other side of the Red Sea. So they
Things
go.
aren't that
So
great.
they are there. Moses says to his wife and Joshua and his brother and sister, "Hey, I'm going to go up to the mountain, talk to God, and whatnot." Well,
because
he's-
there's better reception up there.
basically. and then after that, Moses is gone for hours, maybe even a few days. And the one Egyptian that was there with the
Edward
red one,
G. Robinson's character.
there you go. He basically says, "Hey, let's make a golden calf, so
And we'll worship it.
and we can worship it and whatnot." So
And
they
then-
make this golden calf.
And then they
Then they decide
they're
to
gonna-
sacrifice
they're gonna-
Josh's
yeah.
girlfriend.
They're going to make sacrifices. They're going to steal. They're going to have a big orgy where just everybody's going to fuck. It's going to be great.
And then
Meanwhile, Moses is up there and God's just like, "Eh," and he gives him the Ten
then
Commandments.
writes out the 10 Commandments, which are this right here. God writes out the Ten Commandments just like this,
And
and
then he tells Moses, "Hey,
goes back and forth between.
you better get back down there and show them that because some stuff's going on
Yeah.
that I don't really like." And
And
Moses
then when-
like, okay,
And then Moses finally takes the Ten Commandments in his arms like this,
and he's like,
and
"Hey,
then he
guys."
walks down.
He's like, "Hey guys, God just what the hell?" And just like everything's going on. He's just like, "Hey."
And then he's like, if you want to be on God's side, walk over here to me and be with me. And then after he does that, he throws the Ten Commandments down, and God parts the ground and kills whoever
All
was
the sinners.
all of the sinners who basically went against God. Then after that, he closes the ground up, and then he passes the staff torch over to Joshua, who they spend 40 years in the desert going to the promised land. Then right before that, right after he passes the staff to Joshua, Moses basically says, "It is your turn. God wants you to go and spread the word of His. I'm going to go up to heaven and be with the Lord." And
I'm gonna go where it's better. Bye, losers.
and that's basically the end of the movie, which
Yeah.
was actually one of the best parts.
And that was actually the final line. I wasn't not kidding.
He's kidding. Anyway, but that is the Ten Commandments. And if you want me to go more into depth without Horror Fanatic being here, I can. And I can also go through
You know,
the box set and everything with it.
I gave the movie some shit, but I actually did think it was good.
And he's not
It
one
was-
for Christian movies.
I hate religious movies. I really do. People who like them, that's fine. Hey, that's for you. I like horror movies. There's people who don't.
As
So
you can see
everybody-
back here.
Everybody has their own tastes. I just don't like them. But as far as this is concerned, it's an epic.
Yeah.
It's an
So,
epic. You don't have to be. You
I
just really
rate this
enjoy it.
movie 10 out of 10. 5 stars
Eh.
across the board. Horror
Eight.
Fanatic gives it a...
I give it, in terms of its story and acting, 7 maybe an 8, a 7. I'll go 7. But in terms of its visuals, a 10 because it's a visually stunning movie. We saw it in Blu-ray, high definition, and
Oh, it's one of the amazing movies. And this is being played
There-
every year on one of the local
There-
channels.
it's ABC I think shows.
I
it,
think so, yeah. It's either
but-
CBS or ABC that shows it every year on Easter.
But the visuals are so stunning in this movie. It's amazing. They went out and shot so much of this stuff live in Egypt and had 15,000 extras for so many scenes. And today, they just all be digital. And it just wouldn't be all that
Yeah.
great, and it'd be like no color.
Now, there is another 10 Commandments before this one that is in black and white and
It's
has
pretty
no
good.
words. And it's just as good as this one.
And it's directed by the same guy.
Yeah.
He made the same movie twice.
Twice. But
Because
the color
first
one...
first time was good, but he's like, you know what? I can do better. And he
And
did.
he did, and he made it into color, and he made this one this one's so much better. I've seen the original,
Don't
which
make
is the
movies
first
like
one,
that anymore.
but you don't see movies like this very much. I can show you a quick peek in it. This is how you take it off. And it opens up like this.
You got all that stuff in there.
So the movie is usually right in here like so. Then right behind it is got a book of the Ten Commandments of the background of what,
It's like
different
production
things.
drawings and photos.
Photos and production drawings and stuff like that. I can go in more depth and everything with it later if you guys want me to. And then, but after that, then you have another type of book that they show. And
You
then,
got a poster, I know.
and then in here they got like little details of, certain things that the Ten Commandments, the production had. And then you got the costume sketches, which these are really cool. I'll have to go into detail with that if you guys want me to. And
It's
then
a pretty well put together
this
set.
is a really good set, and I only got it for $30 because
Thanks, Vsauce.
they thought that that the DVDs weren't in it when really the DVDs were. And you just put this right back over it, and voila, you have the Ten Commandments, and that's what the back looks like, and then the front with Moses on it. It's actually really good. I actually love this movie. So if you guys want, I can go into more detail with that along with the movie as I'm describing it. Just let me know in the details.
But without me.
Well, yeah, without Horror Fanatic. So anyway, this is getting a little long. I will see you guys later. Anyway, if you guys, like I said, I will put more stuff down in the comments and into the description of, I mean, you could probably find that's box set probably on Amazon or eBay for a really good price. I just end up having to find mine at B Stock for $30, which is really good. Again, I am one of the famous and awesome people from the movies and the movie fanatics. So come and join us, and we will see you next time. And again, pay close attention to the Facebook because I'll probably be posting more stuff there as I will here on YouTube. So I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.
As Moses said to his people before he went to heaven, I'm out.
Bye, guys.